Hello and welcome to Koru Kiwi Arts, and welcome and Happy New Year to you all. I hope you have a wonderful 2023. Now, I wasn't here last week. We were away in Croatia. We were staying in a place called Zagreb. It's their capital city. It's called the City of Museums. It's full of museums, but unfortunately a lot of them were closed because they had an earthquake, and they're still doing a lot of repair work to a lot of the buildings for safety purposes. So we never got to see a lot of the museums. So we will go back, but we won't be driving because it took days to get there. Over 1,600 kilometers we traveled. In fact, on the way back, it was a nightmare. It took 26 hours to drive a distance which would have only taken us 9 to 8 hours, but there was lots of car accidents, as well as we were in rush hour traffic through a couple of the cities. So anyway, welcome. Now today I thought I'd do something a little different. I thought I'll show you some pictures that I did when I was a child. I'm talking about when I was very young. So where do we start? Okay, we can start with this. Yes, a folder. I actually have two folders. In here, in my folder, I have cartoons. Not cartoons as in, I'll just do a cartoon. I'm talking about cartoon strips. And I got pages and pages and pages of cartoon strips. Can you see that? And I would love to redo them again and fix up the stories. And yeah, I did these when I was in Australia. I stayed in Australia for many years, living by myself, and I was working in an ink making factory, and I was also working in Woolworths, and I didn't make much money. But when I got home, I wanted to, I don't know, being an artist, you always like to try different things. I've done nearly everything you can imagine. I've done glass art, painting, oil paintings, sculpture, cartoon, animation, music, songwriter, you name it, even building houses. So I really like being creative. I love doing things with my hands. So I love to one day finish these off and put them in a book, and I will. I won't leave it too late because I am 57 this month. So time is certainly going fast. So I see we have 121 subscribers on YouTube. Ho, ho, ho. Thank you so much for everyone for joining our channel. Thank you. Now, on or down here, I have a lot of pictures. So I'll show you some of them. Now, this is a picture, a sketch. This one's on Instagram. This is a picture I did while I was there, sitting at the beach. This was taken in Russell, and they were of some rocks near the shore, and there's some people walking along the beach. I never got to finish it. In fact, I didn't finish a lot of pictures off because they were school projects. We only had a certain amount of time to finish stuff, and so we had to quickly finish it and then get back on the bus, or we're in class or whatever. But a lot of the pictures I did finish for my school projects, after hours, I gave away. So I don't really have much to show there. I gave them away to friends and family. So that is a pencil sketch I did of some sea rocks. Now here is another, you see that? Now this one is a picture of some eggs sitting on a plate, and there's some material, a sheet. I remember drawing this. I think I was 14, and I was learning how to sketch and do the shading. It's not perfect, but I was trying to figure out how to create textures and material and try and, I don't know. When I look at a painting, I always look at how a pencil or how a paintbrush is applied to the canvas or paper. That really fascinates me. I can see a lot of personality in the artist when I look at that, when I see the pencil, because as soon as you apply your pencil or your paintbrush to the canvas, it normally starts off good or normally starts off bad. But either way, if you do finish it, it always comes together. Not all the time. It doesn't matter. We're always learning, and that's what it's all about. So I'm 57 and I'm still learning. I'm not the best artist in the world, but I'm different, and that's what it's all about, because there will be some people out there that may not like your artwork, and there might be some out there that may like your artwork. I did a picture of a house with my friend when I was 14. Now I thought, wow, his house looked really amazing, but he was jealous of my artwork. He said, I liked your artwork better than mine. Isn't that funny? And I even had a person walk past and they had a look at our artwork, and he said, I like yours, it's mine, because you didn't use a ruler. You just did all your line work of the house and everything freehand, where my friend Ricky used a ruler. So it's all down to the individual. That's what it comes down to. And art is about personality and subject and technique and medium, and yeah, so that's what it comes down to. But I have gotten better. I don't want to pat myself on the back, because as I said, I'm always learning. But I was a glass artist for 32 years, so I was drawing every day for clients. Quickly, not slow, quickly. But anyway, here's another picture I did. This one's on Instagram. This is a watercolor, an imagination drawing, painting. And the seagull head was something I found on the beach, and I put that in the picture. And all the rocks were painted from my imagination, except for a couple, and I loved it. I thought it was really good. I was 15 when I painted this, and I liked it. So I did all sorts of things. Animation, cartoons, and so on. Now here's another painting I did of a fairy. Now my mum, my grandmother and myself, even my auntie, we would go to the Auckland Ferry building, and we would catch these ferries and go over to Devonport or Waiheke or Rangitoto and have a picnic or spend the whole day there. And they're all decommissioned now, and they are no longer. But I was a child and I remember these. I used to walk around everywhere. This is not a very good picture. I did some really good ones, and I gave them away to my friends from Hemston Glass, and they have my originals. In fact, I gave them quite a few. I'm not sure why they haven't hung them up, but they said they gave them to their son. So anyway, here is another one. This here is a monoprint. Okay. Now a monoprint. Let's see if I can find another picture here. A monoprint is a picture that is created with ink. Now, you can see there's different colours there. Okay, so if I can find the other picture, I will be able to explain to you exactly what I mean. Okay, it's a landscape. Now, here we go. Here's another monoprint that I did. Isn't it funny? I did this over 30 years ago, and I was in contemporary art Istanbul with my wife Benna, and there was an artist with some paintings that looked exactly like this picture. And I said to the person who was selling them, I said, that looks like my picture I did over 30 years ago. And I showed her my photograph, and she said, yeah, you're right. Isn't that funny? And it had the same sort of sky, and it had the same sort of mood. And so a monoprint, what you do is you get a flat bed or a table, and you roll your ink down over the table, whatever colour chooses your fancy, and then you sprinkle chalk over it so the ink can't be touched. Then you place your paper on top of the ink and chalk, and then with your pen you draw on your paper. So there is the drawing on the other side, and as you press onto the paper, the ink is transferred onto your paper, and you get your monoprint. And if you want a different colour, all you have to do is clean the table off, put a different colour, do the same process, put chalk down, and apply your paper down again, and draw in a different spot, because you know where you've drawn. It doesn't matter where you place your paper on the ink, because wherever you draw on your paper, the new colour will appear on your print. And that's what I've done here. Okay. So it's a monoprint. I did that when I was in Selborne College. I was 14. Here's a pencil sketch. I was very young when I did this, of the Auckland Ferry building. Never got to finish it. And here's another one of some rocks. I might put that one on Instagram. This is a charcoal pencil drawing. It's a pencil, it's charcoal. And it's easy to smudge. So I sprayed it with hairspray to prevent the chalk from smudging. That's right, hairspray. Here's another picture I did of a piece of animation. Now, back in 1987, my friend Clovis and we did some animation tables. It's like it's a light box, and it's got a circle, and it's got some slots where you put your paper in, or your clear plastic, and you can see underneath, and you put different layers, and you draw your animation. Like to move a character from A to B, you can take 25 moves to move just that far, you know. So, and then once you've done all that, you have to add all the colours in it. We went down to Weka Studios to see or to learn animation, but they were closed down in Wellington many, many years ago. So that's one of the pictures. I lost all my animation. I never got a chance to film it all. I did a lot of it, and I think there was a film. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, but it was of some sea creatures and some other things, but it was really funny. But never mind. I've got some new animation that I've got on my YouTube channel, which I've done by using Pencil 2D. I've got a tablet, and so it's a lot easier to do. Now, here's a watercolour of some feathers that I did I might put that on Instagram. It's just black and grey. And here's another picture that I did of some, I think they're wheat. They store wheat in these things, but it was from a photograph someplace in New Zealand. And here is the painting. I never got to finish it, but I love the way I added all the bright colours and I really made it pop. And yeah, it's been very creative. Again, I was about 14 or 13 when I painted this. Wow. Time capsules, that's what they are. Paintings are like time capsules. I collected all my paintings, all the ones I had, and brought them to Istanbul with me because I wasn't sure if I got to be here forever or go back to New Zealand, but it looks like I'm going to be here permanently. But it's a good thing because Turkey is a beautiful country. I'm a New Zealander, if you didn't know that already. Now, my parents, they sold the house that we used to live in Remuera, and we lived in an old state house. And next door, there was a lady, very, very kind lady, Mrs. Comer. She lived in this house here. And they removed the house after she passed away, and they built a new house there. And it didn't look as nice as this one. But this is the state house, the other side of the state house that we owned. In fact, there was two state houses. It was just like a square rectangle that was divided in half, and yeah, one was two families, my mum and. Sorry about interrupting the video just then. There's people walking past my door, and I'm not sure they're going to knock and walk in. So I just was telling them that I'm going to be filming for another 10 minutes. But anyway, yeah, so they sold the house, and neither of these houses are there anymore. So I drew this when I was going to Selwyn College in high school. So it's about 30 plus years old, this pencil drawing. And this is what the houses used to look like. Yeah, so little time capsules of memories. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. I might put that one on Instagram as well. Here's another picture I did. I did this, I think I was about 13. It's amazing. Sometimes your paintings work out, sometimes they don't. It doesn't matter. They do or they don't. Because we're all learning. As I said before, I'm still learning. I've been drawing and painting for many years. But I like it when paintings come together and they work out. And the only way they're going to come out is if you proceed and finish your painting. Because I find it really difficult seeing a painting that's unfinished. Seeing all these unfinished paintings now makes me really uncomfortable. I'm thinking, why didn't I not finish these paintings? It's because we had school projects and we had assignments and we had a certain amount of time to finish everything off. So it's probably why they were all unfinished. But here's a picture I did of my school sandal, and it just so simple, and the way I applied the colours and everything, you know that's a school sandal, you see, and at the same time you can see it's been worn, and you can see that it belongs to someone. And yeah, and I like the way the colours come together. There's a lot of faults in it, but at the same time it doesn't matter because the picture comes together and it tells you a little story, and you know that, hey, it's a school sandal, and that's all that matters. Yeah. So what else I've got to show you? Okay, I used to draw a lot of silver beet because that's one of the assignments we had to do at school. So we had to draw lots of vegetables and silver beet and whatever, a lot of still lifes. So I'm all self-taught, but we were also taught, or I was also taught at Selwyn College by a couple of very nice teachers. Gravel was one of the names of the teachers. I can't remember the other name of the teacher. I can't remember their last names. But here's an old typewriter. I was learning how to sketch and draw and everything. And here is my logo that I did for Koru Kiwi Arts. I've changed it now. And in here are pictures of some native flowers, and they are all on Koru Kiwi Arts. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, please do so. I was also a glass artist. So that's me there. That's me there. My last name was Herrick at the time. Now, the reason why my last name was Herrick is my mum's first marriage. She was married to a guy named Herrick, and the marriage dissolved, and she moved up to Auckland to stay with her mum and sister, and she met someone else, and they had me, but they weren't married. But he, my biological father, he also had children. So when I was born, I had no last name. It was just Darren and my middle name. So my mother just called me Herrick because of her first marriage. So I carried that name, Herrick, through many years until I decided to change it to Burch, because my stepfather looked after me for over 30 plus years. So I took his last name. It was a difficult thing to do because I wasn't sure, should I take my biological father or my stepfather? It was a hard decision to make. But anyway, it's done, and yeah, so I was born with no last name. So I've been a Burch for now nearly 25 years. Anyway, enough of that. Here's another watercolour that I did. This here is on Instagram. I did this when I was 15 or even younger. New Zealand farmland. I really like this one. It's got a very childish feel about it. It's like it should be in a child book or children's book. I did glass art for 32 years. I had a business for 18 years, and I was drawing every day and sandblasting on art. If you want to see some of my artwork, I wish I'd taken more photos, but in those days we didn't have a camera, and so I never sort of took pictures of everything back in 1982. So only till later on I did. So I would have had a lot more pieces of artwork. Now everything's on Instagram. I haven't put everything on there, but I got some of the pieces on there. Here's something we did when I was in Selwyn College in high school, and if you look very closely you'll see there's a bee. This one's on Instagram as well. This is an old tree that used to be in our neighbour's place next door, and I loved it. It looked just like this. So I climbed the fence, sat on their side of the property, and I sketched this. This was painted, oh sorry, this was done in 1981. There's the date there, 1981. There's my name, Darren Herrick at the time. So Herrick wasn't really my last name. And this one was another tree. I'm not really liking this one, but there's a story behind it. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, pictures hold a story. And I was in St. Heliers, and there was this beach that went down to this reserve, and it was like a little hideaway. I don't think many people knew about it, but I found this little track, and it, as you went through and climbed under all the branches and everything, it opened up into this big beach, and it was lots of white sand, and it was like, wow, and there was no one there. And this was a tree that I had to pass, and I liked it, so I sketched it, or part of the tree. But the picture didn't come out that well. But it tells a story. For me, it does. Here's some watercolors that I did. I really enjoyed painting watercolors. And some sketches of some stuff we did at school. Here's some more. In fact, we did lots of the same thing over and over and over and over again. Crazy, really was. We even went to museums and school trips to the zoo. Went to Russell, Bay of Islands. Spend weekends away on art trips and drawings and all that. Here's some hands I did. In fact, there's another one. It's bigger than this one. I'll show you later. And this is a picture from a book. I think it was Tarzan. Here it is. This one here. I like this one. This is a picture of some hands. My hands, of course. And I like it because it shows different perspectives, like this one here, and this one, and that. And see, I use no rubber. I just went like this with my hand, and I drew it, and they came out really well. See, here's one that didn't come out well, but I didn't care. I just kept drawing, and this one came out well. I like this one. This one. It's like the hands doing that. Yeah. This one's on Instagram. I like this one. Oh, it's upside down. It's a pen drawing of some historical buildings. There's a waterfall. And here's another one of a pen drawing, colour pen drawing of some sand. I've seen a lot of people doing artwork with pencils that look similar to this, and they look fantastic. There's a lot of brilliant artists on Instagram, a lot of people doing some amazing stuff. Did I show you the picture of, I did. I'm not sure if I'm showing you things twice or, anyway, it doesn't matter. Here's a, now, actually before I show you this, let's see if I can find the print, the monoprint, hang on. On Instagram, Well, just recently, I've been seeing a lot of people doing these portraits of people with real vibrant colours, reds and greens, and blues, and I've seen 2 accounts of them doing these portraits, and I thought, wow, I used to do something similar to that when I was very young, about over 30 something years ago. And so this is one I did. I wasn't happy with the face. This is a portrait of myself, and it's done in colour pencil. But this reminds me of their work that I've seen on Instagram. And there's another picture somewhere hidden in here. I'll show you if I can find it. Here's another picture that I did of a house. Now, I'm going to say it again. I'm not sure if I'm repeating myself, because I did a video just previous to this and I had to do it again because I had the wardrobe open there and it looked really messy. So this is my second take on this video. So, there's an old fairy. I painted this when I was very young, and yeah. We got one of these being renovated in West Auckland, and there's a lot of work they need to do, a lot of work. I used to walk around and go down to the engine bay. I used to love going on these ferries. Now, when I was staying with my auntie Frances and her family in South Auckland, I was about 13, and I painted this. This is looking from their window, and I painted from looking over to their neighbours. It's got a real child feel about it, and it's got clothesline and someone riding a bike and the old state house and everything in South Auckland. Very childlike looking picture, and I really like it. Yeah. I won't be putting it on Instagram because I'm only going to be putting my best pictures on there, because later on I'm going to show you what I've been doing for the last year. I've been painting, I want to have an exhibition this year, and so far I've done 8 paintings. I'm working on my 9th, but I haven't shown anyone what my new paintings are all about, and this is my new thing that I'm going to be focusing on. My wife and I, we're just going to be focusing on this, and this is who we are. This is what we're going to be. Once you see these paintings, you'll soon understand. And I want to get as many as I can done. If I don't get all 15 done, even if I get 12 done, I'll be happy. But 2 of them that aren't related to any of the things that we're working on are on Instagram, and it's New Zealand Tui and Hudsonville Township. They are the first 2 posts that you see on Instagram. Now, here's something that's really strange. Now, maybe, I don't know, there's a message here, and maybe this message was, for me being here in Turkey, maybe I was meant to be here. I'll tell you why. I did this when I was about 12 years old. I sketched this. Now, these houses look very similar to the houses here in Turkey or Greece. Why? Because the architectural, how they're made and how they tile and all the different things. To me, that it looks like something you see in Turkey or the UK or somewhere, but Turkey, right? So I drew that. I don't know why I drew it, but I drew it. But this is where it gets more puzzling. I drew this one. This is some buildings in Christchurch in New Zealand, Christchurch City. Now, if you look closely here, you see the word Ramadan. Now, Ramazan is how you pronounce it in Turkish. Ramadan is the English version. Well, Ramazan is a public holiday. It's like Bayram or whatever, Muslim holidays and stuff in Turkey. So this is a Turkish hotel, and when we were driving around, I seen the same building, Ramadan, here in Turkey. So without me even knowing, I was drawing a Turkish building or Turkish business in Christchurch called Ramadan. And here am I now in Turkey. So maybe there was a message, I don't know. Strange, very strange. This is I like this. This is a watercolour that I did on some very thin paper. Hope you can see that. And I was in Russell, and I used pencil and pen. A lot of people are doing that now. This is over 30 years old. It's on very thin paper. It had a lot of creases in it, but someone told me I should put it through press it into some books. But it's been pressed in some papers up on the bookshelf for some time, and I've noticed they are gone. But I really like this. The colours aren't as vibrant. I don't know, the camera's not picking them up, but the colours are very bright on this picture. Maybe it's just the sunlight. It's quite dark in here. Here's some more stuff we did in high school. And I did this one when I was in Mount Wanganui. I was there drawing this. I was up on Mount Wanganui mountain and I drew this. And here's some more beach rocks. So we did get away quite a bit when we were at school, drawing lots of stuff at the beach or whatever. Now here's another sketch when I did when I was very young. I really loved drawing the sky and the clouds and skies in New Zealand. Very dark, all white puffy clouds. And this is a view looking from my balcony, from my bedroom, down the valley, going up the hill, and there's all these houses that sit up there on the hill. And I did a painting, I'll show you soon. But yeah, I really like this picture. I might put that on Instagram. Or shouldn't I? No, I won't. Also I did some bone carving, and I really enjoyed bone carving, but you have to wear a mask because you don't want the fibres to get into your lungs. It's very dangerous. So bone carving is really nice. I was using sheep bones, and you boil them in the water and you take all the bone marrow out, clean them all up, or you can bleach them, and then you using grinders and whatever or drills to, but when you're drilling and doing all the grinding, all you can smell is burnt. It smells like burnt flesh. It's horrible. I hate the smell of bone being carved. See if I can find some more pictures. Yes, monoprint. When I was talking to you about people doing profile pictures of colours and reds and greens and all that, see, this is what I'm talking about. I did this one when I was in high school over 30 years ago, and this is what I've been seeing on Instagram on a couple of channels. People are exploring, learning, getting into this sort of stuff. It's funny, I was doing it many years ago. Here's another picture that I did of a train watercolour, never got to finish it, but I really like this picture. I like it because it all came together. When I paint, my mind sort of goes into this other world, you know. It's like it just I don't think when it comes to painting. Maybe that's why I like expressionism, because there's no rules when it comes to painting. You don't have to do everything by the book, you know. I learned everything by the book when I was at school, but expressionism is a way for me to say, hell of a law, I'm going to do whatever I want. And yeah, when I was living in Sydney, Australia, I was doing a lot of drawing, and this is my very first portrait that I did. This is from a picture that I took from a magazine, and yeah, so it's very old, 1979, and maybe a bit earlier, probably 1981 or 1987, I'm not sure, but I was living in Sydney, and it's got a lot of damage. I think it was in a glass frame, and maybe the glass burnt the paper, I'm not sure. Here's some more silver beat pictures that I did. And what's this? And some very basic landscapes. I'm still developing my skills, still learning. I like this one. This is a sketch I did. And I've used pencil and blocked it in with some colour. I've seen a lot of people do this too on Instagram. They draw with their pens and then they colour it all in with watercolour. An old batch, New Zealand batch. And another one. School projects. This is a watercolour. Now, all being self-taught, I just blocked it all in, and I never really learned how to add all the detail in. Oh, I did, but not to what most people do today. Oh, that's better. It's actually quite nice. Side. I can fix these up using my digital art on my sketch pad. I can fix them all up. That way I don't need to alter the picture, I can just leave the picture as it is, fix them all up, do more prints. Here's another, this is a vinyl cut that I did of some leaves. I love vinyl cuts. It's another thing I've seen a lot of people do on Instagram. And there's some more landscapes and watercolour and pencil. And there's another one that I did. I really like this one. Starting to develop a skill or style. I was trying to find my style. This was drawing from a picture, 1979, drawn from a book, and another watercolour. I like this one too. Now this here is a picture of an old cottage. It was over 100 years old, and it was just around the corner from where we lived in Remuera. And the doors and windows were very low. Like a normal door would be 2 meters high. The door on this place was like 1.4 high. So whoever lived there was very small. But I loved it because it had a lot of character. And my name is written somewhere down there, Darren. So that's how I know it's old. And here's some more pictures. I gave a lot of my pictures away, a lot of pictures away. Now here's a painting I did. I used this varnish. This is like canvas paper that you buy in a book, but the varnish has gone yellow. I did two paintings. This is the mock-up of one. This guy's, his name's Bill Wilson. He's not with us anymore. But this is the deck or the balcony from where I used to live. And if you look down the valley onto the hill, you saw these houses. Now they were a lot further away, of course, like up further away. So I brought them forward and I made my picture more vibrant. I love painting houses and buildings, but it's very hard to do because if you don't get those lines looking straight or looking nice, they tend to, I don't know, doesn't look quite right. But saying again, my friend and I, Ricky, we were drawing some old historical houses up in Victoria Avenue, and I had there was this person walked past, and I always liked his paintings and drawings because he was, to me, I thought he was a much better artist than me, and I was sort of a bit jealous. But he liked my pictures, and I thought, wow, isn't that strange? He thought I was better than he was. Isn't it funny, you know? But anyway, this guy, he saw our pictures and he said he liked mine because because the lines are drawn by hand. My friend Ricky would use a ruler, so he liked my pictures. They had more, it was more freestyle sort of drawing. Here's another picture. We went to the Auckland Museum when I was at school, and I drew some Maori artifacts. These are like a pickaxe for gardening. Now this here is made of greenstone. Now greenstone is a very hard rock. Now, you can find greenstone all around the world, but not this sort of greenstone because it's made up of different properties. And there's two types. There's a light greenstone and a dark greenstone. And the dark greenstone is very precious. In fact, they're both very precious. And it was very valuable. They used to make all sorts of stuff out of it. Jewellery, weapons, and gardening tools and whatever. And it was very hard, and you could put a sharp edge to it. And but I'm not sure how on earth they managed to cut them and polish them, because these ones were so well polished and groomed. Very clever. Here's another watercolour that I did. I did this when I was very young. I was about 14. I like it because it shows, it has a feeling behind it. It's not perfect, but I did it when I was very young. It's got perspective in it. It's telling a story, you know. It's got a mood. This picture, it tells you, hey, this is a nice looking place, and it gives you a mood, a nice, peaceful, relaxing mood. I'd love to finish this one. I might do this one on pencil 2D, but I can't at the moment. My computer's gone down, so I'm not able to do any drawing or any music or anything on my computer. My battery is dead, and I have to pick up a new battery, but they cost so much here in Turkey and I can't afford a new battery. So I'm saving up to see if I can buy one. But lucky enough, my wife's got another laptop and I'm using that, but unfortunately it doesn't have the programs. And I tried to load a Microsoft Movie Maker, but it wouldn't allow me because of the antivirus programs. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm going to be doing my videos on my phone and putting them on YouTube as they are, no editing, nothing. So there won't be any music, no intro, no end to it, just as it is. So unfortunately that's where it goes. For now, what have we got else to show you? Anything else? No, I'll just leave it as that for now, so you guys can have a rest and have a wonderful new year. And thank you so much again for being here, and let us know in the comments box below if you would like me to do a drawing or anything you would like me to do. Imaginary drawing, of course. I'm not good with portraits, but I will do anything else. Maybe a dream of yours, or maybe, or if not, I'll do another one of one of my past experiences that I had. I've done 2. But anyway, see you again, and thank you again for being here, and take care.